funny thing just happened. By the way, good morning, everyone. What just happened was I actually started "Good morning, everyone" and realized I hadn't even turned the camera on. Yep, even your buddy Raven does some pretty interesting things from time to time. And of course, you know what day it is. It is Straight Tarot Tuesday. And the only real news I've got is, well, I got some new tabletop RPG stuff in. Getting some more in today. Actually, I say some more. It's going to be one more book. But those are going to be revealed on not the next episode of our Tribal Podcast, but in a future episode, which will be coming. As of right now, our Tribal Podcast featuring my discussion, or rather my complete nerding out on tabletop role-playing games, is up and running. It's on YouTube, it's on Odyssey, it's on Rumble, it's on Spotify if you just want to listen. Now, if you just listen, you're not going to see some of the books that I show off. But if you watch, well, you'll see some of the books I show off. That's really where that's the real difference. Also, I've noticed my audio quality wasn't all that great, but it was okay. The video quality was fine. And not only that, you'll miss this really kick-ass intro in the video. It's really cool. I think you ought to check it out. But enough about me. Let's talk about you watching this right now. You who show up every day to see how your day's gonna go. I can tell you, I had a real interesting day yesterday. So we're about to see how this rolls today. Let's see what's going on. Starting with you, as always. Knight of Swords in reverse. We've seen this kind of thing before. Normally, the Knight of Swords means very quick action. You know, there's a lot going on with that one. But in this case, that's not, I hate to even say it this way, it's not the case. But the general theme on this is, you know, the willingness to act on ideas, to kind of, you know, you're swift, you're intelligent. In this case, there's some ignorance here. And of course, there's stirring up drama. There's, you know, stormy times ahead. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this for a minute. I can relate. I can relate to being ready, willing, and able to jump in. But often, let me show you something. Often we mistake this for this. Where we're, pardon the term, white knighting it. In reality, we are operating on complete and total ignorance of some fact somewhere. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. You see something and it's, oh my goodness, that can't go on. Someone must do something about that. Well, slow down. Slow down a little bit, okay? You don't have to be so quick about it. This is telling us, right now you need to take stock of your situation. There are some facts you are going to need on this before you begin to act. And you shouldn't be unwilling to act. You shouldn't be afraid of it. But that ignorance is what I'm seeing here. And it's not a good sign. So let's see what's going on in the mind. Because that's really where ignorance starts. We do have a Five of Wands in reverse. We've got a Page of Coins in reverse. A lot of reversals today. And we've got a Two of Swords in reverse. Yikes. That Five of Wands is one that kind of concerns me a little bit. I mean, they all concern me, but this one, This looks a lot like we're just unwilling to act for some reason. And I need to look at this Five of Wands for just a moment, if you don't mind. So, this Five of Wands, rather than getting into conflict here, this is one where we're looking for peace. We are. And this concerns me because this is the unwillingness to fight, and it further reinforces this Knight of Swords. The unwillingness to get in there. It's like fear. You're not in a fight. You don't want to be in a fight. Boy, you'll do anything to avoid it. Unfortunately, it's kind of the wrong attitude, because when you move from here into this Page of Coins in reverse, you're really just kind of like resting on your past success. Unfortunately, right now, even though this choice cuts both ways, it's going to be made for you. So the question is, right here, mentally, it looks like you're kind of like, well, I've done all I need to. There's a bit of laziness here too. Like, well, I've done all I need to, and now I don't really have to do anything. No, you still have work. You still have work to do. You still have much to move forward. This is where the ignorance is, the unwillingness to move, the unwillingness to kind of dig a little deeper. You're kind of just believing whatever you're told and moving along, but the problem is that has consequences, and the consequences are choices can be made for you. Remember, yesterday we talked about really taking the action you need to take in order to affect powerful change. Well, now it kind of looks like you're looking back and you're going, no, it'll come. It'll come when it comes. It's fine. Not without your work, it won't. So let's look in the physical. I've got an Awakening in reverse. Got the Lovers in reverse. And I got a Ten of Swords. Got a Ten of Swords upright. Ouch. Jeez. What is going on today? What is happening with us? I don't quite get it. The Awakening is one I don't really have a whole heck of a lot. But this one. Your Awakening card here. We don't have a lot of experience with this one. This one doesn't come up a lot. But right now, it looks like you're trapped in place and you're turning away from your higher calling. You're holding back. And you're asking for help, but you're not listening. You're refusing to wake up. That no matter what anyone else tells you, you're like, nah. Because it conflicts with your past successes. That will lead to people walking away from you. Not even gonna lie to you. And you're gonna have those feelings of betrayal. I mean, that comes pretty smoothly. Let me explain this section for you right here, because I don't think you're aware of something. You know what? Hang on just a minute. I need a little something. Here we go. Sorry, had to grab a little something. Anyway, what's going on with this section, this is what we call the ask hole. Right now, what this personifies to me is you're kind of stuck in your own head. I've been guilty of that several times. You're asking for advice, but you're not taking it. Now let me explain what happens when you do that. So If you were to come to me and ask me for advice, I'm going to give you the advice. You don't take it. The outcome that I told you would probably happen happens. That's not me being psychic or intuitive. That's just me kind of analyzing the situation. You say, you know what, I think I'll go out to, I think I'm going to run out to the local tavern, have a few, and I'll be like, alright, well, you know, take an Uber. That's my advice. Because if you don't, well, you could probably wreck your car, you could kill somebody or injure them, or, you know, wind up in jail, all three, and then you're going, that's going to be the most expensive night on the town ever. If you don't take the advice and you wreck your car, but that's all that happens, well, now you got to replace your car. Your insurance isn't going to pay for it. See what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, well, that could have been a sight worse. You actually got off light. You have no injuries, but your car is screwed up. And next time you're going to take an Uber? Yeah, but that's kind of expensive. Well, how expensive is this car to replace? You know, so you do it again. This time you injure somebody, and you wreck your car. And you wind up in jail. You're coming to me for advice again. It's like, no, not this time. I think you need to work this situation out. Same thing happened in one of the books that I read when I was reading up on tarot. The lady performing tarot had seen in the cards that this lady was into something that wasn't quite right, and she needed to get out of it. She needed to get out of it now because someone close to her in proximity was catching on, and sooner or later it would go down and she would lose everything. She made the excuse that this was the most money she ever made. She's not going to give all that up. And then what happened? Well, our neighbor happened to be a cop, and he caught on that something wasn't right. She was arrested. She was up to some criminal activity, and she calls from the jail and asks her reader to do a reading for her, and her reader tells her, you know what, when you get your life back on track, then call me. That's what's happening here. Now, you're going to feel betrayed, but it's really your own fault. See what I'm saying? If you're going to ask for help, you need to accept it. Let's go into spiritually speaking here. Well, the only two upright cards in the entire spread were the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Swords. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you right now, you're feeling emotionally empty with this Queen of Cups in reverse. Not really nurturing that spiritual energy. Not taking care of yourself emotionally either. And with this Chariot in reverse, you've come full stop. You're not moving. But if this is what's important to you, you might want to rethink a few things. Because this is the ultimate partnership right here. This is family. Nothing's more important than that. Believe me, I know. But it seems like your actions are alienating them. It seems like the lack of really good advice coming to you, or the good advice that's coming to you, your lack of attention to it's really kind of destroying things. This is probably a colossal warning. I'm saying this is the biggest warning sign reading I've ever gotten, and someone out there really needs to kind of look at it, because right now our addictions to drama and things like that, even though the Devil card didn't pop up, I can still see, I can still see where drama is a thing. It's not taking center stage here. but it's going to split up. It's going to split up partnerships that matter. So it's very important that you take the advice that's given. Now, I kind of go back to the Havamal on this one just a little bit. The cowboy Havamal, to be exact, when it says, and while you should listen to other people's advice, don't just go doing everything they say. You've got a head on your shoulders. Use it, boy. Sage advice. And I think it's the best, it's the absolute best summary to this reading. People are going to offer you advice, very good advice, but you're going to need to take it, even though it might seem painful at the time. They're not betraying you. They're trying to help you. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Just remember, even though this was a colossal warning sign to your day-to-day, this is good advice. Start listening. Get yourself moving again. If you find yourself being stuck at the moment, that's okay. That happens. But you need to find a way to get yourself unstuck. And it may be painful to do so, but always keep in mind what's most important to you and why you're in that situation, why you're dealing with it. Also remember, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always be willing to learn. Always do what lights you up at every opportunity. And as always, shine on. In light of today's video, I have to share a little bit of a story. We had kind of a little bit of an incident at work. It wasn't this week, but I was informed of it this week. And I had made a little bit of a screw up. Now that's nothing new. I already told you, even your boy Raven has a tendency to mess up. Did it with this video. But the thing is, I got some really good advice out of it. Advice I can use moving forward, and that's going to be the absolute key thing to that little screw up never happening again. Also, the merciful thing about it was I got the opportunity to kind of explain what happened, and I remember exactly what happened. And let me tell you, good thing it was close enough to it that I could remember what happened. So. Yeah, that little screw-ups, they happen. Getting stuck, it happens. So now the question is, do you take the advice and run with it? Because I can tell you right now, that wasn't advice I needed to think about. Some advice is going to be very, very good right there on the surface. Some of it's going to be very bad on the surface. Some of it you're going to have to really consider things and see if you can't find a good way to do things. So the question is, what are you doing today? I know what I'm doing today. I'm working. I'm working and I'm not doing what I did Thursday. Hopefully you will too. Also, just as an aside, I know that reading wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but warning signs can keep us from as much trouble and lead us into better places just as much, if not more, than the reading that tells you, hey, you're doing great, you're on the right path. That can happen. Sometimes we need to face a hard truth in order to understand where we're going and why we're headed in that direction. Sometimes we need to be told, hey, this road leads to a bridge that's out, you might want to take a detour. Know what I mean? Hope so. I'll see you on YouTube. I'll see you on High Notes. Card of the Day's coming. Take care.